What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Evil Saint, and today I did a hack the box for the first time in a few months. This is a post box commentary. It has been a while since I've done any hack the boxes, so I didn't want to go live or try and one take this. So I did it in the peace and quiet by myself, and I thought, you know what, if it goes well, I'll do some commentary after, and here's me still trying to get up to bearings with the new interface. So it's been that long since I did a box.
It's all about humanity.
Okay, so in the end, I decided to do return for my return to hack the box. So here it goes. I hope I did as well as I think I might have done. Just starting off now with my Nmaps, I have got some autocomplete functions attached to some key bindings in Zshell that I'm using there. That's why I was able to quickly expand that command out. At this point, I'm noticing 5985, 389, 636 LDAP ports, 88 for Kerberos. I remember seeing a web server at some point as well. Just kicking off my UDP scan now. I decided to only do the top 100 ports because it doesn't really seem to finish if I do any more than the top 100. However, in the case of this particular host, I didn't actually need to do the UDP scan. To be honest with you, I didn't really look at the TCP scan that much. I saw some ports fly and I just sort of went with it. Here's me opening Jxplorer. I saw LDAP on 389 and 636, obviously 389 being the unsecured LDAP. I'm just going to go for an anonymous bind. And it didn't seem to want to connect, so I kind of gave up on this angle of trying to fuzz the LDAP information. To be honest with you, like a lot of the hack the box videos, there's been no exception. This is more of a race against time, not really typical to what you would to use on the real job. You know, there is a whole kind of hope, spray and pray. The thing with hack the boxes are, I mean, they're good for practicing, but in real life, there's a sort of, you have to remember in real life, not every machine you're going to come across is going to be vulnerable. So it's key to know when to move on and to manage the client and make sure that you're getting coverage in real life. So the methodology that you use on hack the box, while yes, it is, hacking in a raw sense, using hacking tools against systems, there's not a lot about the methodology that you would use for hack the box that's really that relevant in the day-to-day. It's very noisy. The customers that employ me, that they pay me not to tell them that I've arrived, and certainly by a lot of the noise that we're making in hack the box. Obviously, the blue teamers would know we've arrived on site, but I digress. So here I'm just running some GoBuster scans. I've seen that HTTP service, so I'm now trying to fuzz and see what I can find behind that service. I've seen the index open, I've seen a few folders, I've left that go in the background, and now I'm just opening Firefox. Just send it to the background, disowning the process so it doesn't tie up my terminal. Just part of my ritual, just doing a bit of cleanup after myself, just renaming tabs, etc., closing tabs that I don't need, closing sessions that I don't need. I say in real life, it's all about note keeping. The customer, at the end of the day, they don't pay, for how much you hack. What they're actually paying for is the report. You could be the best hacker in the world, and you may find some really interesting vulnerabilities, but if you can't put them into just seeing now that there's some JavaScript void functions there, they're actually not real links. Yeah, you could be the best hacker in the world, but if you can't actually tell the customer and relay the issue to them and help them fix it, with proper remediation steps, and to highlight the risk to make sure they can put it in the correct place in the risk register, then it's useless. Just notice then that the input field, the first thing I saw was it's not actually a password field; it's a text-based field. And why this field here had a name field to it, I couldn't see the name field on any of the other inputs. So if you know anything about HTML, you need to pass a name to the input field, so when you post or update, it shows up basically on the server-side variables. So I'm just checking now and just sort of interacting with the form. I didn't really think it was relevant to get burp out for such a small form. However, I was prepared to if need be. One thing I did notice about this particular web app, I'm not sure if it was the Hack the Box network or if the server was just taking a pounding, but it was very, very buggy and slow. There was a period, I don't know if I think it'll come out soon. There was a period where I was clicking on the input boxes for a while, and they were almost like disabled. So not sure what was going on there. I'm just sort of getting to the sort of realization here that this is posting for an IP, because it says IP in the field name. So even though it says server address there, it says IP. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can change my IP. I immediately go for TCP dump to see if I could actually sniff some of the traffic coming towards me and get a better feel for what is going on. So I'm just now basically putting the snap length to 0, putting verbosity on there, so make sure I get as much information as possible. And I'm just filtering it to the host in question. It's at this point I realise I have a connection going with the web server, so as soon as I put my password in, obviously I can see the HTTP requests for over 4,000 packets. So obviously that's not going to help us very much, so I'm just trying to now isolate by taking out that TCP port, HTTP or port 80, and seeing what I get come back. I just put a single quotes around it because I realised that the exclamation mark would have got interpreted in the double quotes. And I saw some ICMP coming back. Again, I don't think there was going to be any benefit of ICMP because I already knew there was a connection going back to me, so just try to remove it from the TCP scan. Made a mistake there with the OR, and just correcting itself now. Just double thinking it. I can almost hear myself double thinking it from here, and I just not enough Red Bull. So at this point here, as you can see, I'm trying to click on the input field, but it doesn't seem to be responding. I can see there's some JavaScript errors in the bottom right corner. I've seen if I could adjust and send the form through here. I couldn't. Gosh, this is like watching Bambi learn to walk, isn't it? So just trying to reset the form here and see if I can interact with it. Still can't interact with it. As I say, very, very buggy it seemed. Like all the fields didn't respond, and then all of a sudden, as I'm hoping you see shortly, I don't know how long this has been playing back for, but hopefully shortly you should see that they did come back. So just sort of inspecting here the errors in the console, seeing things blocking me. I didn't know if this was part of a trick or something. Starting to doubt. Here I go for a different browser. Actually, to be honest with you, I just noticed now I actually ended up opening the same variation, same browser. Should have gone straight to Chromium. Again, though, couldn't interact with it, so I open Chromium. Still couldn't interact with it. At this point I realised it's probably something to do with the network bandwidth or something, or the network congestion perhaps, but it definitely wasn't browser related. So definitely part working. Was able to refresh the browser. Couldn't interact with the input fields though. Not sure 100% what was wrong. Probably the JavaScript errors might have been affecting the page. Still trying to click in boxes, trying to select inputs and stuff. Couldn't get anything selected at this point, so now this form has now aggravated me. I think at this point I was actually convinced it might have been part of the trick. Maybe the form was meant to be working and then it stopped working or something. Maybe it is part of the trick. As I said, it kind of just started working again for some reason, so I wasn't sure if it needed to have a response via ping in order to display the page. I'm not sure if ping was blocked or something, if it stopped the page, which is why I adjusted. Didn't really make any difference if I remember rightly at this point. So I still couldn't interact with it. Doing a curl request now to make sure I can request from a different user agent. Again, not sure what my logic was in that particular, just sort of debugging really. Yeah, it looked like it was coming back okay. And then, if I remember rightly, I have one more go. No, it still didn't work. And then I kind of went to shut things down to reopen them just to see if it made any difference, because as I said, the form initially was interactive. Just looking for the Go Buster, started to click a few links. And then all of a sudden I was able to click in it. So I closed down the other, although saying that, looks like they all started working. So again, not sure what happened there. So I decided to close down the curl pane. I like to rename my windows. As I said, on a proper job, it's key keeping good notes. You need to be able to retrace your steps and tell the client exactly where you've been and what you've done. Obviously, this is all good fun, but like I'm just stating, in real life, we need to make sure that we follow a reproducible methodology, and it's not all about spraying hacking tools all over the place. Now I had a bit of a problem there again, posting for some reason, so I went to the network tab to try and debug. It seems to be posting to my IP, and then I look at the TCP dump, and at this point it's noting the port 389, so LDAP, and that's what triggered me to put up a SOCAT listener. Okay, so first actually I tried the X option to get back some ASCII as well. So before I did my SOCAT listener, and again the form was really like, it was very hard to interact with it. It kept starting and stopping. So good job really. I was able to replay that request. Yeah, there wasn't a massive amount of any interesting details in the ASCII output. I think this is what triggered me to put a SOCAT listener. Obviously the website wanted us to, wanted communication with us over port 389. I just didn't know what it was requesting from us. I was getting ready to spin up an LDAP server, do some kind of LDAP fuzzing. But realistically, so this is where I got the creds. Realistically, I wouldn't have expected anything that involved on a machine that was meant to be easy or medium. I think it was an easy machine. So got my creds, put them into my cred manager. Just testing that there. Obviously, I don't print the password out, but you can see with a P there is a password. The whole thing, the whole password manager is made out of ROFI and a bit of bespoke scripting. Some of it's been borrowed, and some of it's been improved, etc. So now I'm testing these creds out, testing them out on the SMB service because obviously it's a Windows box. So it goes green, so I've got some kind of connectivity and probably write access, but it didn't say pwned. So pwned is the default in the cme.conf for when you've actually pwned a system, and mine set the default. So I was expecting the pwn flag, but I didn't guess it. I just got the green. So now I'm just trying to see what shares give it the response of pwned. There must be something readable, writable. That's when I realised that I put the lowercase h instead of the uppercase h. And then I noticed from the C dollar share there, the C drive, I got read-write access. So just going back to my scans now, UDP didn't really bring up anything that interesting. Bit of DNS obviously goes to show it's a domain controller. Also 3268, which is the global catalog port, and 3269, which is the sort of secure TC wrapped global catalog port. Just picking up on 88 there, Kerberos, which is another indication. And I also noticed there was WinRM enabled. So at this moment I'm just checking because it's got Kerberos service on it, and I've got creds using the packet to see if I can get any pre-auth going on. And that's because I've set up my terminal, so when I select something it automatically copies it. So now I've had to go back to the creds, put it in, didn't actually get anything from here. You did see the administrator there, but that wasn't the message that you needed. So I kind of just waited for this to finish a little bit, but realised it was taking a while. Not sure why. I don't know if it's hack the box but I just feel when you start these challenges, it's a bit of a race to the finish, I guess, with myself most of the times. But again, this is not normal behaviour for on site or on the job work in general. Very, very noisy. Just very, very noisy, guys. I mean, this is fine for your like OSCPs and your your PPTXs and stuff like this, but in real life, obviously, you'll find that when you get into the actual job, you don't sort of treat client machines like you do on Hack the Box. So yeah, I just realised now I put the IP address at the end, and it does actually matter. It's positional. So this is when I get the pwned, and obviously I saw WinRM open and just tested the WinRM service. So my go-to then is being PowerShell for PowerShell remoting. Just remembering the syntax. To be honest, it's not really remembering the syntax. I mean, I can barely forget it because I have to use it all the time. But it's just like I say, when you're doing these things and you're recording yourself. So just passing creds in then because it's a Windows domain controller with Kerberos. So up and I was actually thinking, do I need to authenticate with Kerberos? Then I tried negotiate. As it stood, nothing was able to authenticate, which was a bit weird. I've been connecting to loads of machines with my PowerShell setup, so I noticed nothing to my PowerShell setup. Tried WinRM, and as you'll see in a minute, it worked. So I was on the box. There's quite a few things quirky with this box, but I remembered I was obviously a printer. Looked at my privileges, thought I've got quite a few privileges here. I was kind of thinking this might go the way of a print nightmare, but I thought I'd just check my privileges, check my groups. I saw the server operators, and I just remembered from a while back on a job, and I know the server operators have backup privileges. I wasn't aware about the services privileges, but I was remember about backup privileges. So I immediately was thinking to myself, can I get the volume shadow copy, go in and try to get a copy of the DIT, and then I was thinking about NTDS and util, etc. My mind was going blank here, and I was just thinking. So I actually typed the wrong command there. I don't think spelling it with a single L or a double L was going to help me at that point anyway. So as you can see, just I think I was on this sort of whole path of server operators backing up, restoring. So this is where I went to get the registry hive. So redsave HKLM, trying to get the system to get the SAM backup, or make a backup, I should say, of the system and SAM, and it worked successfully. So at this point, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to dump the hashes, pass the hash back into the box. As I said, it's meant to be an easy box, so I want a quick win. Downloaded system. While this was downloading, I thought I'd open up Redripper. Never got to use it. It's actually ended up finding the path for it. But Redripper is a great little tool for doing like deep dive forensics on the system hive, and you can you can sort of query a lot of different pieces of information. So outside of trying to extract the hashes, I was getting ready to also do some enumeration. Just in that middle tab at the moment, just scrolling up, you can't really see it because every line's the same, but I'm just going through that whole Kerberos session just to sort of see if I actually got any valid creds. Sorry, any valid responses. So now at this point, I'm just sort of buying time because I've got the download system.bat going on and I don't want to waste any time. But obviously when that system.bat is downloaded, I do jump back. So that downloaded, it took a little while, but now the SAM file seems to download in seconds, which is great. I exit out of evil WinRM, and at this point I was just going to do a SAM dump and then pass the hash back into the box. So I kind of thought it was over, and then I just realised then there's actually no password set for any accounts. So I was like, okay, back to the drawing board. So back on the machine, just sort of doing a bit of maintenance there, closing down the other tab, just giving it an exit. I've already got the creds on my cred tool, so just getting my Windows privilege escalation tools ready. Those background jobs at the bottom, I've got some conversion scripts that also allow me to things like exe to hex, exe to hex file, and exe to bat, etc. Just grabbing power up, using the certutil method. I mean, essentially that little script that I've got there just helps me by checking my current IP and just passing back to me the scripts. It moves them into a temporary folder location, then just passes me the scripts, quick links them, so a couple of download cradles. So as you can see, I just used the certutil, downloaded power up, invoked all checks. Now it did say there was a DLL for system abuse. The get WMI object Win32 services being access denied kind of took interest. Don't normally see that. So I found the right hijack DLL. But yeah, I was quite surprised with the Win services because this account was actually meant to be for like backing up and restoring system files, and I was expecting to have more access to Windows services. At this point, I'm actually looking at these services they're meant to be modifiable above. And we had access denied. So again, back to the drawing board. I think not being able to enumerate the services and not performing that side of the checks actually was more a clue, I guess, than anything. Tested it myself just to make sure it wasn't a problem at all. Saw the access denied. Came determined to start to look at the services at this point. Didn't notice I just spelt child item wrong. I'll find out in a minute. So it seemed there was part access to the registry, but we had to start chaining the paths together, which is what I did. I started to just walk through to see how far I could get, hoping I was going to get to the services themselves. And obviously I was able to list all the services now, so there was a way around getting the services. And I tried to do a format table property to extract just the name field. The name though is actually the whole registry path, so I put it into a file to start with. The plan was to loop around this file and then pass it to SE query to see if I could find any information about these services individually. So just doing get content services to sort of output the page, put it into a for each loop. And then it's actually at this point I realised that the syntax might have been incorrect because of the registry full path. So I just reconnected, thought I'd download the services, exit back out, and I did a quick catenate, just double check, yep. And I believe I used an awk, no, I used cut. I used cut then to extract the last field. Output the services, use the sponge command from the more utils library to redirect back into the same file that I was catting out of. Reconnected, again in the rush, I don't know where I got delete from. Went with the correct command there, the correct alias. Re-uploaded services. Again, not sure what I'm doing there, just making up syntax here. It's going to do get child item of a page. Yep, so then go back to my original idea of doing a loop. I guess this is painful to watch for you guys as well, but yeah, so as this flashed down the window, I saw a service on the go. I was just about to grab my notes for this, the NTS command to dump the nts.dit, and as I did it, I remember it was actually ntds util, which is the tool, not install util. So now I'm back on this page again, scrolled back up, saw the enumerated one service, so I knew my syntax was okay, but there was a lot of services that failed. I mean, a lot of these are not necessarily modifiable services in the registry, but you'd have thought more than just this one would have come back. So at this point, again, a little bit stuck, but I'm kind of semi-satisfied that I was able to enumerate the services with the blockers in place. So at this point now, I'm thinking, well, I know it's ntds.util, and I'm thinking of the VSS admin util for the shadow copy and things like that. I know I've got some privileges, I just can't remember. Well, while I was doing this, I couldn't remember what the specialty of the special nuance of the server operators, or print operators for that matter, was. But I definitely knew the server operators had some kind of backup permissions. So just sort of double checking there to see if any other services came back. Yeah, I wasn't able to actually perform that backup. If failed access is denied. The fact it had access denied kind of deterred me from trying any other techniques. Did a bit of a Google search. As I said, I knew the server operators had some kind of privilege at this point, but I wasn't 100% sure what it was, or if I was actually just misremembering, I should say. So I was just sort of scanning the blog at this moment in time just to sort of see if I could find any write-up or any help. So back to Google for another search at this moment. Notice the Microsoft write-up. That reassured me the backup operators can back and restore files, but when I read it again, I was like, oh, backup operators, maybe it's getting confused when I say server operators. Then I was actually thinking to myself, have I got it confused? Yeah, so double assurance now. The server operators do have some kind of ability to back up files, but I also noticed then the services. Found a red teaming blog and hack tricks, as most people doing CTS probably aware of. Yeah, I go through an inception piece here, so I'm scanning the blogs. Like they look very, very similar. I didn't actually realise that hack tricks had or the other way around, but one of these guys has definitely copied content from the other person. So it takes me back, it takes me off track a little bit. So as I'm reading this and I scan hack tricks, I just notice that they've pretty much got the same write-ups for some of these same images, I think, as well. Looking at it now, but yeah, definitely. So yeah, just taken back by that. I believe the Hattricks blog is probably copied just because the iRed team looks a little bit more extensive. But again, I don't know. Maybe they copied off Hattricks. Not sure. So at this moment, not really found much what I was looking for, but I'm still looking for that confirmation regarding the server operators and any kind of privilege escalation path. So I'm going back to the services now. I saw that line on Microsoft website about the services. Saw the total OSCP guide, then I saw it was about MySQL Server. Just noticed there's 65 standard services that are supposed to be returned. That caught my eye. And at this point, this is actually the blog responsible for really getting me on the system. So, sorry, get me system, not get me on the system. Get me system access. So I kind of scan this first to take it all in. Can't see anything to do with the print operators at this point. So then I saw the print operators and it looked a little bit bare. So I go back up to the server operators. see the backup operators, and I kind of double take. A little bit unsure now if I saw server operators or backup operators. Definitely saw server operators, so that's kind of reassured me. And now I'm just sort of reading the server operators part. And this is just me really reading. I see the VSS service, and again, immediately get interested because that's the shadow copy service. So I noticed he's been doing some hack the boxes. Here's his HTB.local. Not sure if he did this CTF actually as part of this machine, or if that's part of another machine. But anyway, I saw the VSS, so now I'm definitely intrigued. I query it. Just checking what the syntax was for configuring it, and its bin path. I'm at this moment in time, I should have actually probably just copied the blog, because the blog's behind me, but like I'm thinking, should I just add a user? And in the end, I decided to find a copy of Netcat. Yeah, don't know what happened here. I'm pretty sure my old Caddy box, it used to be Win binaries, but maybe it's been renamed now. So copying that into the workspace, connecting back by evil WinRM. Now I upload. And now it's time for take 2. Setting up the Netcat listener. Using RL wrap to get a better shell. I say better, it's not much better, but it's a little bit better. If this was a Linux box, I would have used SOCAT. Assume it's been installed. And just set the Netcat job listener, or set the path to a Netcat job to connect back to me. Then I realised obviously I need to quote some of this with some quotes. Now I realise I needed some quotes. I mean, the space is important, so I did need the space as well, but now I try and stop the service. It tells me it hasn't been started, so I start the service, and to my surprise, bang, I've got my shell. Can't decide what I'm doing first, so I think, you know what, I need to get these flags. I think this is now the demonstration of how little I do hack the boxes. I went straight for flag.txt, and it's not flag.txt, it's actually user. So at this point now with the crash, it's like, you know, okay, abort mission, let's just cancel this down and do it again. Set my listen up again. Re-trigger the service to start. This time around a bit more gentle. Now I realise it's user.txt. I'll have to blur that out when we put this YouTube video up, but that's me getting the the user.txt hash. So now I try again to double back to the administrator and again get a crash. Not sure that little circle fit where the mouse was. So now just incrementing, going up a folder at a time. Get to the desktops. There you go, there's the root flag. Again, I'll have to blur that out, but that was my path through the box. Hope that was informative for some people.